The galaxy was vast, filled with countless stars, planets, and civilizations. Among them, the human race was considered small and insignificant. Their technology was primitive compared to the advanced empires that ruled the cosmos. But one day, everything changed. In the far reaches of human space, a lone warship was built. It was not like any other ship. It was massive, sleek, and armed with weapons no one had ever seen before. The ship was called the Titan. It was the pride of humanity, a symbol of their determination to survive in a hostile universe. The Titan was not just a ship, it was a fortress. Its hull was made of a rare alloy that could withstand the most powerful attacks. Its engines were capable of speeds that defied logic. And its weapons, they were something else entirely. The ship was equipped with a new kind of energy cannon, capable of tearing through entire fleets with a single shot. The story begins on a quiet day in deep space. The Titan was on a routine patrol near the edge of human territory. Its crew, a group of highly trained men and women, were going about their duties. The captain, a seasoned veteran with years of experience, sat in his chair on the bridge, watching the stars. Suddenly, an alarm blared. The ship's sensors had detected an incoming fleet. It was not human. The alien ships were fast, sleek, and heavily armed. They were part of the KRYLL Empire, a ruthless civilization that had conquered countless worlds. The KRYLL had heard rumors of the Titan and had come to destroy it. They believed that no single ship, no matter how advanced, could stand against their fleet. They were wrong. The captain of the Titan stood up and calmly gave the order to prepare for battle. The crew sprang into action, their training kicking in. The ship's weapons powered up, and its shields activated. The Titan was ready. As the KRYLL fleet approached, they opened fire. Dozens of energy beams shot toward the Titan, but they bounced harmlessly off its shields. The captain smiled. It was time to show the galaxy what humanity was capable of. With a single command, the Titan's energy cannon fired. A blinding beam of light shot out, cutting through the KRYLL ships like a hot knife through butter. In seconds, half of the fleet was gone. The remaining ships tried to retreat, but it was too late. The Titan's weapons locked onto them, and one by one, they were destroyed. When the battle was over, the Titan stood alone, unharmed and victorious. The crew cheered, but the captain knew this was just the beginning. The KRYLL would not take this defeat lightly. They would come back, and next time, they would bring an even larger fleet. But the Titan was ready. It was not just a ship, it was a symbol of humanity's strength and resilience. And as long as it sailed the stars, the galaxy would know that humans were not to be underestimated. The news of the Titan's victory spread like wildfire across the galaxy. The KRYLL Empire, once feared and unchallenged, had been humiliated by a single human warship. The other civilizations watched in awe, their disbelief turning to curiosity. Who were these humans, and how had they created such a formidable weapon? On board the Titan, the crew celebrated their victory, but the captain remained focused. He knew the KRYLL would not let this go unanswered. The ship's systems were checked and rechecked, repairs were made, and the crew prepared for the next battle. The Titan was not just a ship, it was a beacon of hope for humanity, and it could not afford to fail. Days turned into weeks, and the Titan continued its patrols. The crew grew restless, waiting for the inevitable retaliation. Then, one day, the sensors picked up a massive energy signature. It was another fleet, but this one was unlike anything they had ever seen. The KRYLL had returned, and this time, they had brought reinforcements. Hundreds of ships, each more powerful than the last, were heading straight for the Titan. The captain knew this would be their greatest challenge yet. As the KRYLL fleet approached, the Titan's crew prepared for battle. The ship's weapons were charged, and its shields were at full strength. The captain stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the enemy fleet. He knew the odds were against them, but he also knew the Titan was no ordinary ship. The battle began with a barrage of energy beams from the KRYLL ships. The Titan's shields held, but the sheer force of the attack was overwhelming. The captain ordered the ship to return fire, and the energy cannon roared to life. A blinding beam of light shot out, destroying dozens of KRYLL ships in an instant. But the KRYLL were relentless. They swarmed the Titan, firing from all sides. The ship's defenses were pushed to their limits, and the crew worked tirelessly to keep the systems running. The captain knew they couldn't keep this up forever. Then, an idea struck him. The Titan's engines were capable of incredible speeds, and the ship's hull was nearly indestructible. If they could create a shockwave by accelerating to maximum speed, they might be able to disable the KRYLL ships. The captain gave the order, and the Titan's engines roared to life. The ship shot forward, faster than anything the KRYLL had ever seen. The shockwave created by its speed rippled through space, disabling the KRYLL ship systems. With the enemy fleet immobilized, the Titan turned its weapons on them. One by one, the KRYLL ships were destroyed. When the battle was over, the Titan stood alone once again, victorious against impossible odds. The crew cheered, but the captain knew the fight was far from over. The KRYLL would not stop until the Titan was destroyed, and the galaxy was watching. The Titan had become more than just a ship, it was a symbol of humanity's defiance, and its legend would only grow. The Titan's victories were no longer just stories whispered in the dark corners of the galaxy. They were undeniable facts, etched into the minds of every civilization that had once dismissed humanity as weak. The KRYLL Empire, humiliated twice by the lone warship, began to retreat from human-occupied space, their fleets regrouping for a larger, more calculated assault. But the Titan's legend had already spread far and wide, reaching the ears of those who had long suffered under the KRYLL's tyranny. On a remote outpost near the edge of human territory, a small alien delegation arrived. They were the Velnari, a species enslaved by the KRYLL for generations. Their ships were battered, their people weary, but their eyes burned with hope. They had come to seek an audience with the humans, specifically the crew of the Titan. The captain of the Titan, ever cautious, agreed to meet them. The Velnari leader, a tall, slender figure with shimmering blue skin, spoke of their plight. The KRYLL have taken everything from us, our homes, our freedom, our future. But your ship, your Titan, has shown us that they can be defeated. We ask for your help, not just for us, but for all those who suffer under their rule. The captain listened carefully. He knew the Titan was powerful, but it was not invincible. Engaging the KRYLL on a larger scale would be risky. Yet, the Velnari's words struck a chord. The Titan was more than a warship, it was a symbol of hope, not just for humanity, but for all who dared to resist oppression. After hours of deliberation, the captain made his decision. The Titan would aid the Velnari, but not alone. The humans would reach out to other oppressed species, forming an alliance against the KRYLL. The Titan would be the spearhead, but the fight would belong to everyone. Over the next few weeks, the Titan traveled to distant star systems, rallying support. The response was overwhelming. Species that had once hidden in fear now stepped forward, offering their ships, their technology, and their warriors. The Titan's legend had inspired them, and they were ready to fight. The KRYLL, however, were not idle. They had been monitoring the Titan's movements, and they knew what was coming. Their fleets, larger and more advanced than ever, began to converge on a key strategic point, a star system that served as a gateway to human space. If the KRYLL could take it, they could cut off the Titan and its allies, isolating them from the rest of the galaxy. The captain of the Titan knew the stakes. The upcoming battle would decide the fate of countless lives. As the Allied fleet gathered, he stood on the bridge of the Titan, gazing at the sea of ships before him. They were a patchwork of different designs, each representing a species that had suffered under the KRYLL. Together, they were a force to be reckoned with. The battle began with a deafening silence, the calm before the storm. Then, the KRYLL fleet emerged from hyperspace, their ships gleaming like blades in the starlight. The Titan led the charge, its energy cannon blazing as it tore through the enemy lines. The Allied fleet followed, their combined firepower overwhelming the KRYLL's defenses. But the KRYLL were not easily defeated. Their ships were fast and deadly, and they fought with the desperation of a cornered beast. The battle raged for hours, the stars themselves seeming to tremble under the weight of the conflict. In the end, it was the Titan that turned the tide. With a final, devastating blast from its energy cannon, it destroyed the KRYLL command ship, sending the rest of the fleet into disarray. The Allied forces pressed their advantage, driving the KRYLL back and securing the star system. As the dust settled, the captain of the Titan looked out at the Allied fleet. They had won, but the war was far from over. The KRYLL would return, stronger and more determined than ever. But for now, the galaxy had seen what could be achieved when they stood together. The Titan's legend had grown, not just as a warship, but as a symbol of unity and resistance. And as long as it sailed the stars, the galaxy would know that even the smallest light could pierce the darkest void. The victory at the star system was a turning point. The KRYLL Empire, once seen as invincible, had been pushed back by an alliance of species they had once enslaved. The Titan, at the heart of it all, became a symbol of defiance and unity. But the captain knew better than to celebrate for long. The KRYLL were not defeated, they were regrouping, and their next move would be even more devastating. The Allied fleet, now a formidable force, gathered at a newly established base in the liberated star system. Representatives from dozens of species worked together, sharing technology and strategies. The Titan, though still the most powerful ship, was no longer alone. It was now part of something much larger, a coalition of the willing, bound by a common cause. The Velnari, grateful for their liberation, offered their advanced cloaking technology to the Titan. This allowed the ship to move undetected, a crucial advantage in the battles to come. Other species contributed their own unique technologies, from faster-than-light communication devices to energy shields that could adapt to different types of attacks. The Titan was evolving, becoming more than just a warship, it was a living testament to the strength of unity. But unity came with its own challenges. The alliance was fragile, held together by the shared threat of the KRYLL. Old rivalries and mistrust simmered beneath the surface, threatening to tear the coalition apart. The captain of the Titan, now a de facto leader of the alliance, worked tirelessly to keep the peace. He knew that if the alliance fell, the KRYLL would pick them off one by one. The fall of the KRYLL stronghold sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The alliance, once a fragile coalition, now stood as a beacon of hope for all who had suffered under the KRYLL's tyranny. But the victory came at a cost. The Titan, though still operational, was heavily damaged. Its hull bore deep scars, and its energy reserves were critically low. The Allied fleet, too, had suffered significant losses. The captain knew the KRYLL would not wait long to strike back. As repairs began, the alliance worked tirelessly to fortify their defenses. The liberated star system became a hub of activity, with ships coming and going, bringing supplies, reinforcements, and refugees fleeing KRYLL-controlled territories. The Titan, despite its damage, remained at the heart of it all. Its crew worked around the clock, determined to restore the ship to its former glory. The captain, however, was preoccupied with a more pressing concern. Intelligence reports indicated that the KRYLL were amassing a massive fleet, larger than anything they had ever seen. The KRYLL High Command, furious at their recent defeats, had declared total war on the alliance. Their goal was clear: destroy the Titan and crush the rebellion once and for all. The captain called a meeting of the Alliance leaders. The mood was tense. The Velnari representative spoke first. "We cannot face this fleet head-on. Even with the Titan, we are outnumbered and outgunned. We need a new strategy." The captain nodded. "You're right. A direct confrontation would be suicide. But if we can lure the KRYLL into a trap, we might stand a chance." He proposed a daring plan. The Titan would act as bait, drawing the KRYLL fleet into a nearby nebula. The dense clouds of gas and radiation would disrupt their sensors, leveling the playing field. The Allied fleet would lie in wait, hidden within the nebula, ready to ambush the KRYLL once they were inside. The plan was risky. The Titan, still damaged, would be vulnerable. But the Alliance had no other choice. They agreed, and preparations began immediately. The day of the battle arrived. The Titan, its engines straining, moved toward the nebula. The KRYLL fleet, as predicted, followed. Hundreds of ships, their weapons glowing with deadly intent, closed in on the lone warship. The captain stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the enemy. "All systems ready," the first officer reported. "Shields at maximum. Weapons charged." The captain nodded. "Take us in." The Titan entered the nebula, its sensors struggling to penetrate the dense clouds. The KRYLL fleet followed, their formations tightening as they pursued their prey. The captain waited until the entire fleet was inside the nebula before giving the order. "Now!" The Titan's engines roared to life, and the ship shot forward, deeper into the nebula. The KRYLL, caught off guard, scrambled to keep up. Their sensors, disrupted by the nebula's interference, struggled to track the Titan's movements. Then, the ambush began. The Allied fleet emerged from hiding, their weapons blazing. The KRYLL, disoriented and unable to coordinate, were caught in a deadly crossfire. The Titan, its energy cannon roaring, tore through their ranks with devastating precision. The battle was fierce and chaotic. The KRYLL fought back with everything they had, but the Alliance held the advantage. The nebula, once a place of darkness and uncertainty, became a battlefield of light and fire. In the end, the KRYLL fleet was decimated. The few remaining ships retreated, their once proud armada reduced to scattered remnants. The Alliance had won, but the victory was bittersweet. Many ships were lost, and the Titan, though victorious, was on the brink of collapse. As the dust settled, the captain looked out at the nebula. The Alliance had proven that even against impossible odds, they could prevail. But he knew the war was far from over. The KRYLL would not stop until they had destroyed the Titan and everything it stood for. The victory in the nebula was a turning point, but it came at a heavy cost. The Titan, though still operational, was barely holding together. Its hull was riddled with breaches, its engine sputtered intermittently, and its energy reserves were nearly depleted. The Allied fleet, too, had suffered significant losses. Yet, despite the damage, the Titan's legend continued to grow. It was no longer just a warship, it was a symbol of hope, a beacon of defiance against the KRYLL empire. The Alliance leaders gathered aboard the Titan to discuss their next move. The mood was somber but determined. The KRYLL had been dealt a devastating blow, but they were far from defeated. Intelligence reports suggested that the KRYLL High Command was regrouping, preparing for a final, all-out assault. The Alliance needed to strike fast and decisively, but they were running out of time and resources. The captain of the Titan, his face etched with exhaustion, addressed the council. "We've weakened the KRYLL, but they're not done yet. If we don't act now, they'll crush us. We need to take the fight to them, to their homeworld." The room fell silent. The KRYLL homeworld was the most heavily fortified planet in the galaxy, protected by an impenetrable shield and a fleet of warships. Attacking it seemed like suicide, but the captain had a plan. The Titan will lead the assault, he continued. We'll use the ship's cloaking technology to bypass their outer defenses and target the shield generator. Once the shield is down, the Allied fleet can move in and destroy their command center. It's a long shot, but it's our only chance. The Alliance leaders debated the plan, weighing the risks and rewards. In the end, they agreed. The Titan would lead the charge, and the Allied fleet would follow. The fate of the galaxy rested on this one mission. As preparations began, the crew of the Titan worked tirelessly to repair the ship. Every available resource was used to patch the hull, recharge the weapons, and stabilize the engines. The captain knew the ship was far from its full strength, but it would have to be enough. The day of the assault arrived. The Titan, cloaked and silent, slipped through the KRYLL defenses undetected. The homeworld loomed ahead, a massive planet surrounded by a shimmering energy shield. The captain gave the order, and the Titan decloaked, its energy cannon firing a concentrated blast at the shield generator. The KRYLL, caught off guard, scrambled to respond. Their warships swarmed the Titan, their weapons firing relentlessly. The ship's shields flickered and failed, and the hull began to buckle under the onslaught. But the Titan held its ground, its energy cannon firing again and again, each blast bringing the shield closer to collapse. Finally, with a deafening roar, the shield generator exploded. The energy shield flickered and died, leaving the KRYLL homeworld vulnerable. The Allied fleet, waiting just outside the planet's orbit, surged forward, their weapons blazing. The battle was fierce and chaotic. The KRYLL fought with desperate fury, but the Alliance pressed their advantage. The Titan, though battered and broken, continued to fight, its energy cannon tearing through the enemy ranks. In the end, the KRYLL command center was destroyed. Their fleet, leaderless and disorganized, retreated into the depths of space. The Alliance had won, but the victory was bittersweet. The Titan, its engines failing and its hull crumbling, began to break apart. The captain, standing on the bridge, gave the order to evacuate. The crew, their faces filled with sorrow, abandoned the ship that had become their home. As the last escape pod launched, the captain remained behind, determined to see the mission through to the end. With a final, defiant roar, the Titan's energy cannon fired one last blast, destroying the last of the KRYLL warships. Then, with a blinding flash of light, the ship exploded, its remains scattering across the void. The galaxy fell silent. The Titan was gone, but its legacy would live on. The KRYLL Empire had been defeated, and the Alliance had proven that even the smallest light could pierce the darkest void. The explosion of the Titan echoed across the galaxy, a brilliant flash of light that marked the end of an era. The KRYLL Empire, once the dominant force in the cosmos, had been brought to its knees. Their homeworld lay in ruins, their fleets scattered, and their command structure obliterated. The Alliance, though victorious, mourned the loss of the ship that had turned the tide of the war. The Titan was gone, but its legacy would endure. On the liberated star system, now the heart of the Alliance, a memorial was erected. It was a massive structure, shaped like the Titan, its surface engraved with the names of those who had fought and died aboard the ship. Representatives from every species in the Alliance gathered to pay their respects. The captain, who had miraculously survived the Titan's final moments, stood before the crowd, his voice steady but filled with emotion. The Titan was more than just a ship, he said. It was a symbol of what we can achieve when we stand together. It showed us that no matter how powerful the enemy, no matter how impossible the odds, we can prevail if we fight for what is right. The Titan may be gone, but its spirit lives on in all of us. The crowd erupted in applause, their cheers echoing across the star system. The captain stepped down, his heart heavy but hopeful. The war was over, but the work was just beginning. In the months that followed, the Alliance worked to rebuild what the KRYLL had destroyed. Planets were liberated, resources were shared, and new technologies were developed. The Velnari, now free from centuries of oppression, became key contributors to the Alliance, their cloaking technology revolutionizing space travel. Other species, once divided by old rivalries, found common ground in their shared victory. The captain, now a revered figure, retired from active duty. He spent his days advising the Alliance and sharing the story of the Titan with younger generations. He often visited the memorial, standing in silence as he remembered the crew who had given their lives for the cause. One day, as he stood before the memorial, a young Velnari approached him. "Is it true," the youth asked, "that the Titan once faced an entire KRYLL fleet alone?" The captain smiled. "It's true. But the Titan wasn't alone. It carried the hopes and dreams of everyone who believed in a better future. That's what made it unstoppable." The youth nodded, their eyes wide with wonder. "I want to be like the Titan," they said. "I want to fight for what's right." The captain placed a hand on the youth's shoulder. "You already are. The Titan's legacy isn't just about battles and victories. It's about standing up for what you believe in, no matter the cost. And that's something anyone can do." As the years passed, the Alliance grew stronger. The KRYLL, though not completely eradicated, were no longer a threat. The galaxy entered a new era of peace and cooperation, a testament to the sacrifices made during the war. The Titan's story became a legend, told and retold across countless worlds. It inspired new generations to strive for unity and justice, to believe that even the smallest light could pierce the darkest void. And though the ship itself was gone, its spirit lived on, in the hearts of those who had fought alongside it, in the minds of those who had been inspired by its story, and in the stars themselves, which shone a little brighter in its memory.